Welcome back to my channel, Crafting with Nordy. Today I'm going to show you how we created this little box. I wanted to create a box to hold these little notebooks that I make, and they're 3.5 by 5-inch notebooks. I was using a little sleeve before to keep them together, and it looked really cute, but I thought, well, when somebody actually receives it, you know, where are they going to put these little books? And you know, they're small enough that they fit in your purse and a bag of, you know, even a pocket. But I thought, well, you know, what if they want to put it on their desk? You know, you don't want to just use such pretty paper and everything and then it just gets thrown into a drawer and, you know, out of sight, out of mind. You don't really see it. And I thought, you know, it should be seen because they're really pretty and really cute, and they make, you know, you can just put these little sets together when you're using these really pretty cardstock. And so I thought, I want to make a little box for it that's going to look nice. And I thought about, I like to do woodworking, so I thought about making a wooden box, but then I thought, I wonder if I can make one with the cardstock that I have. And you know, you can also make it to match the books, the set that you make. And I thought, you know, it'd be really nice to make something that's going to look nice on a desk. And so I was making one before, and it was piece by piece by piece, and it was just very tedious because there was all these pieces plus pieces for the inside to connect them all, and it just got really tedious. And my husband knows I hate doing tedious things. And so I mentioned that I just wish I could just create this in one shape, out of one shape, and just keep it simple, so I'm doing the least amount of cutting and all that, and it's just, it'll go together a lot easier instead of holding this piece and holding that piece and whatnot. And so he figured out the shape for this and showed me how he did it, but it was a bit too complicated for a video, and a bit too complicated for me to explain and make sense of because, you know, I'm not good at that kind of thing. But I can see the shapes that were within the shape that he made, and I said, okay, well, we can just break it down that way. So we did it shape by shape, and we put that together in the Cricut app, and we're going to show you how we do that. You don't need the Cricut to do this. You can do this even by drawing it out yourself based on the dimensions that we give you, or you can cut out each shape based on those dimensions and create your own template and then just score it along where we score it. And so you don't need a Cricut to actually do this. So if you're going to do it by hand where you're drawing it out or cutting it out, just pay attention to those dimensions. And so what you're going to need is a thin sheet of chipboard, and I'll leave a description below of everything that I used, and then a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. So you're going to use the chipboard to actually make the box, and the cardstock is going to be what we use to wrap it. And we're going to show you how to get both shapes for the chipboard and the cardstock, so that the shape, so it matches together, so that it's just right for folding it over and just looking really nice like this. So you're also going to need some rulers, some scissors, and a scoring bone, and really strong double-sided tape. If you want to use glue, you can. I just don't care to use glue. It's messy, and I don't want it causes things to kind of warp, and I don't want to have to sit there and wait for things to dry and hold them together. I don't have that kind of patience. And you're also going to need a scoring board. Well, you don't need the scoring board, but that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use my scoring board. It just made things so much easier. If you don't have one, you can just use your ruler and just mark wherever you need to score, and then that's where you're going to hold that ruler down and then just make your folds on those points and do it that way, and it'll come out just fine. So stick around and we'll get into it and show you how we do this. Okay, so now we're in the Cricut app, and go ahead and hit this plus sign on the bottom here, and then on the bottom left, go ahead and select shapes and scroll down and get this square here on the bottom left. Tap that, and just below it hit edit. And then to the left, we're going to change the width and height. And the width is going to be 3.6 by 5. And then just below where it says actions, go ahead and tap that. And then to the left, go ahead and hit the plus sign where it says duplicate. Okay. Now we're going to go back to shapes, select another square, edit that, and that one's going to be 1.3 by 2.5. We're going to line these up at the bottom and try not to overlap. You want them to just touch, because otherwise your measurements, if you overlap it too much, your measurements will be off. Okay, so let's go back down to shapes, select another square, and hit edit, and this one is going to be 0.375 by 5. And this one is going to go to the left side here, and try not to overlap, just, you want that just to touch, okay? And then the next one, you're going to get another shape, you're going to go grab another square, tap that one, and this one is going to be, you're going to edit that, the width is going to be 1.3, the height will be 5, and this one's going to go on the right side. Line those up, okay? And all these lines that you see where they connect, those are actually going to be our score lines also. So these are going to be the measurements of our score line. So from the left side, this is going to be 3/8 of an inch in, you'll make a score line. And then these two, this point here in the corner, these two middle lines, that's where you're going to score. And then from the right side, you're going to come in 1.3 inches and score there. Okay, so let's go back down to shapes. And we're going to edit this one, and this one is going to be 1.3 by 3.25. And you're going to line these up from the bottom. Okay, and then go back down to shapes and select another square. Edit that, and then this one is going to be 0.5 by 3.15. Okay, and right below, select actions, and then to the left, hit duplicate, and then these are going to go on either side of, on each side of this rectangle here. Okay, and so now we're going to select this whole thing, and just below it, where it says weld, just below on the left, tap that, and now we got one solid shape. Now we're going to go back down to shapes and select the triangle. Tap that, edit, and this is going to be 4 inches by 2.5. Okay, and we're going to hit actions, and then duplicate, and we're going to set one of these aside. Okay, select that triangle, flip it over, and this bottom point here, we're going to line it up with the bottom, this corner here on the left, right in between this open rectangle space here. So we're going to line the bottom of this triangle up to that point. And then we're going to select it together, and just below it, we're going to hit slice. We're going to tap out. We're going to select our shape and move it. And then this triangle up here, you can delete that. You'll have to delete it like twice because it creates 2. Okay, let's get our triangle over here and flip this one over. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. We're going to line up that point, select it, hit slice, tap out, get rid of these shapes right here, and there we go, that's our shape. Okay, so now we're going to select this shape and then hit edit below, and then you see just below it where it says offset, you're going to tap that, and we want this to be 0.5, so we want a 1/2 inch all the way around. okay? And on the bottom right, you can see you can have rounded edges or square. I'm gonna select square, but you can choose whichever one you like. And then we're gonna select done. So now we have two shapes here, okay? So this middle shape is what is actually going to be our box. So this one here on the right, this is gonna be our box. So this is what we're gonna cut the chipboard out of. We're gonna cut this shape out of the chipboard. And the one on the right is going to be our cardstock that we use to wrap the box, okay? But we don't need this bottom square here on this one. So what we're gonna do is go back down to shapes, select a square, and we're gonna place that over, line it up there on the bottom, as close as you can get it. It's harder for me to see when it's small. Okay, so it's lined up there. Select them together, slice, then select this shape and delete it. So this is all you need for the cardstock. Okay, this shape here on the left. And the shape on the right is going to be our actual box, okay? So go ahead and select Make It. And make sure your Cricut is connected. Okay, so as you can see, we are going to be using up almost this entire 8.5 by 11 sheet of chipboard. And as you can see on the mat here, it shows it comes down a ways, about 1/4 inch from the top and from the left. That's where it's going to start cutting. Okay, so we don't want it to cut outside of that chipboard, and we're barely going to have enough room to fit in there. So just make sure that you're setting that chipboard on that mat about 1/4 inch down, and just a little bit. You don't have to go a full 1/4 inch from the left, but from the top you do. Okay, and then go ahead and load that to your Cricut and get that cut, and then we'll cut the cardstock next. And remember, when you're cutting the chipboard, you want to have your material setting to poster board plus is what I put mine to. If it doesn't cut all the way through, do not unload the mat yet. Don't hit that arrow and unload it. Check it and see if it cuts all the way through first. If it doesn't, just hit the C again and it'll redo that cut again. If you unload it and you see that it didn't cut all the way through and you load it back in and cut it again, the cut's going to be off. So that's why you don't want to completely unload it. So just kind of check that first. If it doesn't cut all the way through, just hit that C again and it'll do that same cut again for you. Okay, so now you can go ahead and load your cardstock, and make sure you set your material setting to cardstock now. If you don't, it'll cut right through your mat. So adjust your setting to cardstock. For my machine, it's cardstock plus. And go ahead and load your mat and cut that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so now that we have these cut, this is what I wanted to show you here. Why we brought our mat down, so that it would cut just inside our 8.5 by 11 inch border. Had we moved this up, it probably would have just cut just outside. So just pay attention to that. That's where it's going to start cutting about, I don't know, maybe 1/4 inch, around 1/4 inch. Okay, so now that that's done, and for this cardstock, I use this purple mat, or which one is this? The Strong Grip. Because sometimes when you got the chipboard on there like that, it doesn't stay put and it wants to come away. Okay, so here's our first piece, and then this is our cardstock. Okay. So, and this is why we wanted our 1/2 inch border all the way around. okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this over and we're gonna start scoring, okay? So the first easy score we'll do is this point right here to this point and then just all the way down. So let's just line up those points right here. Kind of moves on me a little bit. So this point and this point. I can see it. I said easy. Okay, and this was our 1.3 inch shape that we stuck in here. So this is a 1.3 inch gap. So this side is also going to be 1.3 inches in. So we're going to measure that. And the reason we have a lot of these point this and point that instead of using like whole numbers or half numbers is because the books that we're using are 3.5 inch books. And they need a little bit of room to get in and out, so you had to give that little bit of extra so that it would fit in there just right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this ruler, and on the bottom of this ruler here, it's standard, but on the top here, these are considered points. So this would be 3.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, okay? And since we were using decimals, we're gonna go ahead and use this. And we need to come in, this is our wider side. So from the edge here, we wanna come in 1.3 inches. So I'm just gonna line that up on, so from 5 to 4, that's gonna be an inch, and then 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 1, 2. So that's gonna be our first score on that side. And on the other side, it's actually going to be 3/8 of an inch. So I got my other ruler for that. So I got 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be our other score. So I'll line that up. So this has to be the same as this centerpiece because this is what's going to be the back, and it's going to meet up right there. I'm just going to, oops, line it up here on my point. Score that. Okay, so this is the side I scored, and I'm gonna fold them that way. I got one more score actually, I forgot. I always forget this one. This score right along the bottom, right here. Excuse the crazy kids. It's always a loud house. Okay. So we're gonna start folding on all those score lines. Okay. And what I found to be the easiest way to do this is to tape the whole paper, the whole cardstock. instead of, before what I had done was I taped all this, all the chipboard, and then I placed it on here. And then I made all my little cut marks where I needed to take these little notches out so I can fold this and it wouldn't be bulky and it would just fold a lot easier. And then I had to put tape all in between all those little notches that I was making, and I'm like, why did I do that? So if you saw my other video, the trial and error video, you'll see why that was kind of annoying. And so what I recommend is just taping, putting your tape all over this. And if you got the wide double-sided tape, that would be really good because it'd go a lot faster. And I would recommend using a super strong double-sided tape. If you have the patience for glue, that's fine. I don't really want to use glue just because I don't want to be all messy, and it kind of warps a little bit, and then I have to keep it flat, and you know, then you got to hold it in place, and just the super double-sided tape works really nice. But if you got the patience for glue and you can wait that long and do all that, go right ahead. But I'm gonna go ahead and just use tape. And because I used my good tape during my trial and error video, I now just have my cheap tape. So just for this video, we're gonna go ahead and use that. But I do recommend a super strong double-sided tape. Okay. And definitely a wider tape also, because this is annoying, and I'll speed up this part of the video. Oops. Okay. So I'm just gonna mark where my corners are, so then I know pretty much where I need to do my cut marks. And I'll be cutting out like a little triangle. And these marks will be like the center of that triangle. And get that as best as I can get it. Put that over. Okay. Go ahead and get your scissors. And of course it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just trying to get it as best as you can get it. You might need to cut a little bit more. Okay, and then these corners, I'm going to do my best. See, before I had cut out all my notches, and then I was like, oh, I forgot to tape the edge, so then I had to go through all these little, and that was really annoying. So. And this just helps take off some of that bulk. Makes it easier to just fold it all over. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and start taking off the tape. Put it all off. Okay. So now we're going to take our, let's just clean this up a bit. And go ahead and center that there. Best we can. That'd probably be the best I can do right now. And so all these points you want to just, because we didn't score the cardstock itself. So we just want to train that paper now. Not too roughly, you don't want to tear it. We also need to tape these tabs here. You want those to line up on the bottom. And the reason why we ended up keeping the gap after all, because what I was gonna do was create a tab to go in there, but it actually ended up working out better leaving it open, because then I can actually press everything together a little bit better, and it didn't make it, it didn't mess anything up. You know, as far as how it stands and how it stays together and functions and all that, it was fine. Okay, but what I don't want to do is when I fold this piece in here, and the reason we did it this way is so we can have a cleaner seam. Just kind of warm up these fibers a little bit. They fold a little bit better. Okay. Trying to see. Kept those tabs. I don't need the tab actually on this one. So that top tab, I didn't need it. And okay. So So that one we can fold over. Outside flat. And then we're going to put tape here again, or here, whichever, because this is where it's going to meet. And then we'll close these tabs over to cover these on the top and bottom, okay? Okay, so now we're going to join that back piece. Okay, I want this kind of folded good in there. And we're going to join those together. Make sure that top and bottom line up so that we close this and have a good seam. And that's another reason, see why it's good for it to have that little opening, because it allows me to see, make sure I'm getting in there really good, because I did another one and you can see down in there, I don't know if you could see that in the camera or not, but it was too bulky with the card stock over it. That tab back there, everything was just like, and the seam wasn't doing really well on that one. So, and we didn't close the bottom, so everything just, it actually ended up being better to just kind of leave that gap. So now we can use our bone folder and get in there a little bit easier. And then we're just gonna fold that over nice and tight. And set that down and then just press that really well. Okay. And then this top piece, make sure we're lined up good, pressed really good. And that's just gonna fold over that other tab. Before I didn't have this flap folding over, and so you just kind of see that, and I thought, well, I think if I just fold it over completely, it might look a little bit cleaner. So try and fold that over nice and tight. Flip that down and just press that down really, really good. And if you'd rather use glue here, if you feel glue is stronger and you want to use it on those spots, I would say go for it. Probably be better. Okay, let me push that down a little bit more. You see that? So we got a cleaner seam here now. And I thought this one looked better, but as you can see here with the cardstock being folded down first down in there, it made it thicker. And so it's not as flat as the rest of it is. And so we cut this flap off and then we folded this flap afterwards. So then we cover that whole thing. So you can see the difference. We don't have that no more. It's covered now. I could have put a little bit more cardstock there. But you get the gist of it. Oops. And I think these come out so cute. They're really, really adorable. And you can even make the back, one of our little, one of our mess ups where we were messing around with, but you can actually add the bookbinding tape on the back and make it look like it's a book itself and turn it the other way on your desk and put it away. Or you could just keep it like this and it works cute. And I will show you again all of our mess ups. Okay, this was the first one. It looks so awful, but you know, we used the thicker cardstock and it just was so bulky. And I mean, I like that it was harder, but it was bulky and a lot more difficult to use. But as you can see, this is awful. And then this was the second one that we were messing around with, and I just did not like, I needed to figure a way to hide the seam, and I wanted the front to be smooth all the way around. And then we came up with the third one where we were just kind of like, okay, we're getting there, you know, we're starting to get there. And then we did this one and we're like, okay, I think we like this one. And we made some adjustments. And as you can see, we put the flap on the side instead of in the back. And we put the tab down in there on the bottom. But it's just too bulky and it gets in the way of the books too much. And it just didn't look as nice. And this little portion here, that's where we have the gap on the bottom. It wasn't necessary, and it actually made it harder to line up. And so we went ahead and went back to the other one that we did with just a couple little adjustments. And it's just, I think it came out a lot nicer. And I do recommend using the better tape, the stronger double-sided tape. And I'll show you what it looks like with the books. Now, I saw a video on how to make these boxes, and it was a big one. It was like this. And I showed this in the last video. And these are all cut out pieces, right? And then the inside, they're connected with these strips that are scored straight down the middle. And then it's glued or taped on the other side, and that's how these edges are connected. And it's really strong, actually. It works really well. But it's a little bit more tedious and, you know, trying to cut all these little pieces out and putting them all together. So what I wanted to do was just create it out of one single piece. And then, so, you know, to eliminate all the tedious, you know, cutting and putting together and all that. And so we were trying to figure out all the different shapes. And at first we had the Cricut cutting out each shape for us. And I was just like, you know, it's kind of tedious and it wasn't fun. And so I just wanted to figure out a way to, you know, make it all one piece, because I wanted to use one piece of my cardstock, you know, without having to cut out all these different little pieces. And my husband is the one who came up with the idea on how to create one shape. And, you know, he figured it out. And when he showed me how to do it, how he did it, I was like, no, that's not gonna be as simple as I would like it for a video. It was a bit too complicated. And so I messed around with it a little bit and broke down the shapes and then did it that way. And by just finding the shapes within the whole shape and then putting those shapes together. And so that ended up working out, and I think it came out really cute. And I think these are gonna look really cute on the desk. And I was gonna make a couple of them for my daughter's desk, but just to show you what it looks like, you go ahead and put the books in. And this will fit 4, but I think you can even fit 5. But I make a lot of these little notebooks, and get that in there. And I wanted to, yeah, that'll fit 5. So 4 or 5, whatever you like. They both look good. But yeah, I make these little journal / notebook, you know, whatever you want to call them, little tiny diaries. You can make sketchbooks, you know, whatever it is. But I had them just in a sleeve, a cardstock sleeve. And it was cute. You know, I think that still looks really cute, and it's really simple, and I liked it a lot. I figured, you know, you could just put a little sticker on it and, you know, it'll be fine. And it's cute, right? But I thought, you know, I wanted these to be sets. I like creating sets because the cardstock that I find, you know, that's really pretty. And so I thought, well, I think it would be really cute to have them on a desk, because I mean, you get these nice books and then you just kind of like throw them somewhere, like in a drawer or whatever. And I'm like, they look so pretty. They should be seen. And so I thought, well, what can I create that they can sit in that's gonna look nice on a desk, but not take up too much room, keep it together, and still look really cute and nice, and, you know, have a little collection going on. And I made a lot of little girl ones and cute little ones, and I thought, well, where's my daughter gonna put hers, you know? And I'm like, she's gonna have them on the desk. I don't want to see them, you know, tossed about all over the place. She's got to have somewhere to actually put them. And I thought, well, this will look really cute and it'll go really nicely on her desk. And there's so many different, you know, cardstock you can use and make these look really pretty and match the book sets and whatnot. And and I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing how I make the books. It's pretty simple, but I still like the process. I really do enjoy making them. But yeah, so I wanted to come up with something to hold the books and keep them together that's going to look really cute. That also helps with packaging. You know, I can package this. I can slap a bow on it, or even put a little label thing right here. You know, they have those little, I don't even know what they're called, but it's not a tag. It's like a little metal thing that holds a little name tag in there, you know, that you play. I forget what they're called. Somebody tell me below what they're called, because I don't know what they're called. But, you know, it allows you to label it in the front, and it's really cute. So there's a lot of little embellishments that you can add to these if you want to. And like I said, you can always make the back look like an actual book. I'm sure you can create these out of old books, you know, but you can even make the back look like a book and have it sitting there, and, you know, it just looks like a book, but really it holds all your little notebooks / journals, and it looks really cute. So I think there's a lot you can do with these to make them look really cute. They're sturdy. They stand up really nicely. They feel good. They don't feel like they're gonna fall apart. And yeah, I just think there's a lot of cute little things you can do with this, and I really like how this came out. And I'm happy my husband figured out how to make this one shape for me, because he knows I hate doing tedious things, and so he made it a lot more simple for me, so then I can do this project and enjoy it. And I wanted to do one out of wood, because I like a lot of woodworking, but I thought, you know, I wonder if I can do it with the chipboard and the cardstock that I have. And so I'm glad he came up with doing this in one shape for me, and we worked on it together and worked out all the kinks, and this is what we came up with. So I hope you guys like it. Thank you for watching the video. I greatly appreciate that. If you like it, please hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified anytime I put out a new video. I am going to try and put out a video once a week. And I'd like to just say thank you for all of you who have subscribed, and I appreciate that, and helping me grow this channel. And I enjoy feedback, so if you can give me any feedback, that would be great. And if there's any suggestions of other videos you'd like to see, you know, let me know. Just let me know in the comments down below. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Have a good one.